Hi, I've been doing a lot of PowerShell videos lately and I wanted to do something a little bit more SQL related. So this is my attempt at doing both together. So what we've got today is a SQL master database recovery script in front of us that I've written with the express intention of speeding up the recovery of a master database should something happen. Now I'm going to walk you through it and show you some features which I wanted to mention on previous videos about how good it is to use Visual Studio Code for this kind of stuff instead of the older PowerShell ISE. And I'm going to show you that as we go along. So first of all, just to explain, we're going to need to import the SQL PS, which is the SQL PowerShell module. Next on the list, we are going to use a variable called SQL, and we're going to use the WMI objects to get the Windows services, and from the Windows services we're going to get the name of an object where it's like MS SQL. Now the reason I'm using like is because I'm in this case have named instances. You might have default instances, but in order to get all of them back anyway, we're going to use the MS SQL and then a wildcard of a star. And then I'm going to return some more information. So out of what's returned, I'm going to select the name, the display name, and the status and the path. Now I'm not going to use all of these right now, but I just want to show that you can return multiple bits of information. And then with that, I'm going to select the name, and I'm going to do basically a very similar thing with a get services as well. So the get services obviously gets the name of the service, and I can then use that later on where I decide to check if the status is running. Then I can stop the service, else output service is not running. Next up, we have the instance name. Now the instance name, when it comes back, if you've ever seen SQL Service, you'll notice that when you give it a name instance, it's MS SQL $ and then the name of the instance. So what we've got down here is I split out the text based on $. So everything after the $, it gets put in two parts as the second split. So the first part will be everything before the $, so the MS SQL, and the second part will be everything after the $. So we're going for part 1, bearing in mind that the first part would be part 0. So basically, in this case, we're providing everything after the $, and we're using the local machine name using the PowerShell variables. And then we're just creating the regular slash that you see in a SQL instance. Next down here, we're going to start in the recovery mode. So SQL uses the M switch for this. So here we see we're using A, which if we look back up is actually using our equal SQL name. So this is using this parameter to start SQL. Once that's started, we're also going to do a restore of the master DB from a backup that I took up earlier. And then last, we're going to wait 3 seconds for SQL to shut down before restarting it again and then checking that the service has started. Now, with all that done, I want to show you some cool functions. So up here we have a wildcard scenario where we're using a question mark, which is an alias. As you can see, when I hover over it, it tells me that it's an alias and I should be using where objects. You might have also noticed down here we have a for count. So you can see several examples of where these types of coding changes are in the script and where it suggests the changes. This I love, to be perfectly honest. It does irritate me to a certain extent because it keeps telling me you are not using best practice, but I have to love the fact that it lets me go back afterwards and change all of these. I'm not going to change them right now because I'm too lazy. But if I was going to submit this script to Microsoft or anyone else, I would make all these changes and have a perfectly running script without any errors in, and it's very simple to do. So this is one of my favorite features. Now with that said, I'm going to go ahead and copy all of this script into clipboard, and I'm going to go to this server over here. Now first of all, I want to prove to you that there is a SQL Server running. There is a SQL Server instance called Yoda. And now I'm going to go ahead and run the script that we copied already. And you're going to see that quick flash at the top. That was the master database being restored. And at the bottom, we have an output. So here we have actually completed the restore of our master database in literally a few seconds. And that's as simple as it is. Now, for anyone who's interested, I will be uploading the script to GitHub, so you can go have a look and get your own copy, modify it around if you want. Feel free to, and maybe you have a better way of doing it.